In page Reish Nun Zayin, before we continue, I just want to say yesterday we left up in the Indian of Lamed Kedim Datzilus Shanasan Alabiyah. I forgot yesterday what the number Lamed. I looked it up. Lamed Kedim means because Lamed Kedim, it's really Malchus Datzilus as 10 Esasfir Sheba Malchus. It's called Lamed because each madrig, each keli is Richter Seif. Listen to three. And now the logic behind put this particular way of expressing it, I'm not sure about, but that's at least we know the technical number. Okay, so we're in the middle of discussing what that Malchus started talking about that in Malchus. He's in the middle of discussing something which you got very detailed into it. That Malchus itself is two madrigas of Yam Yabosha. So the general point is that Malchus Kamesha Bebiyah, that's Yabosha. Malchus Kamesha Batzilus is Yam, but he goes into a very long discussion about it. So what he says now is, what are we up to? Which line? You see, it's a few lines from the top. Ine Prinas Malchus Kamesha Batzilus. The way Malchus is not Zilus, Shebichlal, Esasfir is not Zilus. But the way it says not as part of the Esasfir that Zilus, I may Hashem call it Makav. Shebchines is Kal Esasfir is Bichlal. That in the level, in the Madrega of Malchus, the way it's not Zilus, what is shines there, what Madrega, that's Klolas Makav. That level of Kav, Shebchines is Kalus, Esasfir is Bichlal. That's in the state fiscals of that it's the way all spheres are combined, which means and all the 10 spheres are together. There's a concept called Kulono. What are you looking for? Oh, Reish Nun Zayin. So Chinas Eil Kolona is a concept of Chassidus, which means that when you have a lot of, it's similar to the concept of a minion. When you have 10 individual people, each one is one. But when you have 10 together, there's a Eil Kolona, there's a special type of energy that comes from all of them together. So that's a concept of Eil Kolona. So in our case, he says if a Malchus is part of that's a seal that sealus. So the fact that there's Esasfirs together, there's a there's a special level of Gilui that because all 10 are together, so it gets a higher influx of energy. So that's another way. It's another interesting way to express this concept of Malchus is part of the 10. And you love, like I said, the marshal. When you're part of a minion, it's not just another individual. You part, like in very crude language, you're part of something bigger. Mainly, you're in a higher state. You're part of a minion. You're part of a higher state. Similarly, when you talk about Malchus, it's not just part of the whole concept of Esasfirs. The male is a colonna that reaches that Malchus gets. When Malchus is separates, so to speak, separates from the Esasfirs and becomes its own entity, and it's Libria. So in that level, it only gets the Gilit, in the sphere of pot. It's not the Kololosar, which reaches all the 10 spheres together. Well, there exactly, he brings the marshal I just bought. Out there, Kol Be'asor Shchin Shari. Just the similar kinds of a minion. When there's 10 people together, Kol Be'asor Shchin Shari. I'll call Alasorataf. Only when there's 10 people together. But Yochid, Agam Shari, She Yochid B'Deir, even if it's a unique person, he's like the only, the exactly. He's the only, the highest person, like the Rambam says in Pirsha Mishnah, is Mifchar Amina Enushi. It's the ultimate best that human can ever achieve. Still is an individual, but that Asharas Hashchina in a minion is Dafka Lasor. So that is one explanation why Malchus, the way it's here, he's going to say the Nimshal in a second. But he brings in interessant. But that sometimes it says the Yochid Sha'avin Tzricha V'Ayin Sham Klolis Mizrael Manhigom are Okay. Now it does it not. There is a unique. He just brought Moshe Rabbeinu as an example, but says no. Moshe Rabbeinu is different because there's also a concept in the Neshama Klolis. Neshama Klolis is not stam tzaddik gomel. It's not just somebody who's extremely holy. Yeah. Talui איזה מי הכלל ומי הפרט. לא מדרש לנו זין. תלוי מי הכלל ומי הפרט. בכל אופן, בנגיע לענייני, the interesting point is making it, the Neshama Klolis, the Gemara says, באמצע המדרש לנו זין. The Yochid Sha'avin Tzricha L'Ayin Shon Neshama. That's not the point we say. Yeah, okay, that we know from other sources, but here he says another point. A practical implication. You see, what you're saying is, we know the Madrega, all this, but here brings another practical that just like a minion, 10 people come together. There's a minion. The Kolono, Neshama Klolis, because he's Neshama Klolis. Rabbi Tzricha means he's like a. He combines all the neshamas soul. So he's made like a tzibur. The Tfilos in 9 is the Gemara says that he's like a tzibur, similar to what's Aser Simit Shuba. Kam Yachad Kam Betzibur. That Mashama Kol says it's a unique thing, but truth is it's still. It doesn't contradict the concept we just said before, because the reason he has that unique quality is because it's in Neshama Klolis. Okay, so what you say, Anasya Koil, maybe it's connected to Anasya Koil. Neshama Klolis means he contains everybody within it. Okay, so that's a derech. So it's interesting. I used Moshe Rabbeinu on both sides of the marshal. First he said, Moshe Rabbeinu, there's Makam Acher. But there are two ways to look at it. I guess Moshe Rabbeinu itself has two parts. There's the Moshe Rabbeinu as an individual. In that role, he needs a minion. If there's 9 people and one of them is Moshe Rabbeinu, there's no minion. That's one. Allahically speaking, saying Kedusha and Chazaras Hashatz, all that Gedorim of Tfilas Hatzibur. But in one aspect, he has the Shenane, the Tfilas Hatzibur, the Rebbe Shtai answers Tfilas Hatzibur. In that aspect, we see Moshe Rabbeinu is unique. Moshe Rabbeinu and every Neshama Klolis is unique. Okay, that's Makam Ach. Just by Makam Ach, it means there's another way to look at it. But it doesn't contradict what it says in this Maimon, because here it talks about Moshe Rabbeinu not as Neshama Klolis, as a tzaddik. In that perspective, he's just one. Okay. Remember, Chassidus always says that it comes to a minion, the Rebbe was bringing it. It comes to having a minion, Moshe Rabbeinu also needs a minion. It doesn't help. The minion in the side of the minion, which is the Allah Sheba minion, like I said, saying the Chazaras Hashatz, Kaddish, etc. But the Nane, that Nane Kamatzil Tzibur, that מה אתה אומר? Okay, זה משהו אחר. לא, he says that's Kachas HaNefesh. That's Kachas HaNefesh. That's not the Neshama Klolis. That's not the Neshama Klolis. That's a different concept. That's a Kachas HaNefesh. Again, that... לא, התכוון להגיד, התשובה היא זה כבר שאלה אחרת, מבחינה הלכתית, if the quality of davening is higher, if he davens himself, maybe in that case it shouldn't daven with a minion. Okay, that's another issue. Okay, before we go further, I want to say something here. The Maim of Vayikra, Katan, page Reish Lamed Hey, היה כתוב שם, חן אוהל המאווה, מבחינת בינה, ביוד נברא אל המאווה. Yud is Chachma, not Bina. So if I looked up in Nine Beis, in 2 places in Nine Beis, it says the same thing. That Oil Maba is Bina, Biyud Niva El Maba. Yud is Chachma, Niva El Maba is Bina. And the Elamaba is Amshach of Bina, Chacham and Bina. אז כתוב, בדרך כלל, בינה זה היי, לא יוד. אז לכן, the fact that he brings the Lashon ביוד ניר ואלמבה to tell us that אלמבה is bina, it means the yud is chachma, nir ואלמבה, it creates bina. That's pshat. דרך אגב. All right, that's one point. Another point is, before we go further, מה אתה אומר? לא, זה בעומד ריש למד ה', תסתכל. Then another point, yesterday we learned something which also left out. Yeah, eight spheres. The eight spheres, the Malchus. I looked up also. It's like I said, it says in Kabbalah and Chassidus also in a few places that's Chabad Chesed Gvur. No, Chesed Chochmah Bina Das, Chesed and Gvur. That's the five Rishonos. I wasn't sure whether I read it. That's the Rishonos. כן. It says, כמו שקוצר בסדר, בשעה זאת, בעניין
We saw many years that
yes.
the Rebbe davened Shachris for himself.
Yeah, of course. No. Okay, that's a different. Yeah, that's a different issue. You say you can explain the people that says here the Rebbe davened Shachris himself because the Yochin Nana Kefilas at Tzibur. But it's just that, I mean, the Rebbe, Bishlal, we know, it's one of the tiniest, the Snagdim, et Chsidim is, Chsidim not medai, in the Dam Ba'avedas, he not medai can fill b'minyan. So how does it answer that? So that was the answer, Esa Keches HaNefesh, which is really an answer al Chsidis, al Kabbalah, but the idea is, halachically also, halachically, if the level of davening is more deeper by himself, there is a head total. So in that case, Fila B'minyan is less important. Not in specific cases, obviously. Okay, so but the fact that Rebbe did certain things, like you said, we can explain it according to what it says here, that Fila B'tzibur Nane, but the truth is, Mincha Ma'ariv usually Medayik was it. I'm not sure, I'm not going to go into explanation, but yes, call it. Okay, so we took care of a few things to finish from before, but now we're going back. So Al Kaponim. So what do we say? There's a Yuval Lamaila, just but that's the Nimshal. The Marshal was Minyan. What is the Lamaila? The Nimshal. The best is that says Mem Klos Rakav Shema Pnimi. The Earth spheres in general, because there's the Eir Al Kolona, the Eir Akav, which is made in all of them in a general way, because Shlomayim Pnimi, the Madrega Eir Al Kolona. Shazem Meir Gam B'Malchus. Malchus is one of the 10 spheres. It also gets it. When Malchus is in Atzilus. Shiur the B'Bria Meir Barak Arasakav Ashar Chnes Malchus Levad. It's like in a marshal. When the person leaves the minion, see, he is not part of the minion anymore. See, he only gets a limited gilui. So that is that has been a get that madrigan oil, which is the klolosar, the oil al kolon. Omnom yadu the possession nifot the nasa. B'chinas feels with nasa miyad gam ba'oil pnimi. So he says that the oil al kolon. We understand why when the malchus separates, it leaves it lacks that gilui of in atzilus because it becomes its own. So that's when you get the oil al kolona. There's the oil kloli, which is the general. It's a more higher level of oil. He says even in the oil party, the possession never to the nasa miut gamba oil pnimi. The fact that becoming sphere b'fnei atzma is not in the Elam Abriya. It's not only not only missing the oil kloli. Even in the oil party, there's also diminishment. What's the marshal? The marshal, is base. Show you till it was boch. You have a word called boch, which is made up of 4 letters: base, resh, vav, chof. So the base, when it's part of the word boch, it has it's Rosh Hashanah of boch. It's not just Rosh Hashanah. It's part of the meaning of the word boch. It's meaning. It's not a kloli. It's not important. Show you by gila pnimi. I'm sorry. Show you by gila seichel. So the letter base and the word boch brings out an idea, the idea of boch, of blessing. Then you take that ois base and you put it separately, take it out of the word. What happens? I'm because it was a Ba'er, but also divine base. And I'm base explains also this whole Ba'er, this concept of the well, this man Lamat did it. So the yeah. Oh, so what? So understand he's saying something interesting. So in other words, the Tumas Sholim. The truth is the idea that when something small is a part of a big thing, there are two things that happen here. Number one, they bring out an idea, which is called a dream, and then there's the Kolon. It's two different Sholim. In a minion, it's not a pshat when the 10 people get together, so there's individually everybody adds something personal. It's more the oil colonna because the 10 together. There's a special oil that unites them because it's a tzibur. It's a feeling of a community, so to speak. So each individual in the community, when there's a certain amount of people in the community, it becomes a community. So that's Erel Kolana. That's Marshall one. That's an Erel Kolana. That's similar, but it's different. It says when a few letters get together, the word is not just a Erel Kolana. Word means something teichendik. Boch means blessing. There's a meaning. The word boch has meaning to it. When the base is taken away, that meaning is gone. So the pnim is missing. It's another question. Okay, so we have two marshalim. One marshal is from Minion, the other marshal is from the Evas Bo. When we get to the Nimshal, it's all part of the explanation. Like I said, started discussing that Spheres Amachos, the way it's in Atzilus, it's the way of Yam. It's part because Yam it has both. First of all, like I said, the Oil Kolona and the Onion from Bo, the Pnimi is there. Making you because Amachos, it is Bria Gam Shemer Barakav, ain't the Kemer Meir Atzilus. Okay, so he's going on and on to explain this detail. You will understand this thing better. What happens to Malchus when it's here? It'll be it's another concept. In the concept of Kanim Bechlau, when we talk about Kanim in Atzilus even, so the two aspects, two madrigas, two not two expressions of what Kanim operate. What is their function? The concept of Kanim in general is something tangible and something limited, defined. Marshal, the Indian Prinas Chachma Bina Ches go to Ferris, Zero Prinas Akain from Mitzias Chachma Vches. Kalim, what do Kalim add to the areas? The Kalim add definition and limit. In other words, there's unlimited energy, like the marshal. There's electricity. The electricity is just energy flowing. Now you take that electricity and bring it into a specific function. Either it should be a electrical appliance or light. That's a mush. So there is a flow of energy, and you take it into a specific way. How it should express itself, right? Heat, cold, light, etc. So the same thing. The nimshal here. The oil is in pshutim be'etzim. The oil is in the kanim. The oil is of the spheres, which means the godly energy within it. Hey, pshutim be'etzim. What is the oil? Oil is really a draw of the Ein Sof. Oil Ein Sof means it's oil. Number one, it's Ein Sof. It's unlimited and partial. It's abstract. It doesn't have any definition. Alkain Gama because the oil that comes from the Eretz is part, because the Eretz the Mocker is part, the male oils themselves also pshut. Lachain Yachal Liyos Achlif Duchtaya Ches B'Klei. So it brings one of the expressions of the fact that I'm not sure which shit it is. It's the pshutim, but the truth is, it doesn't matter because even the shit that doesn't yachas to the kedim is still pshutim. Okay, I'm not sure he's talking about the shit is here. The idea is that the earth yachas to the kedim is pshutim. So it brings a raya noch. But it says in Kabbalah the concept achlifa dechtai. What does it mean? מפני שיעור פשוט, וגם כשמסלבש שומר בכלי החסד, אין בחינת חסד בעצם. Even when the oil operates in the way of chesed, it's not, doesn't turn into something defined as chesed. לכן יכול להחליף את דחתיו. דחתיו אין בחינת הכלים, דחתיו means its location, which is the kelim, ולי יש בכלי הגבור, זה דרך החסד, כמו בכלי הגבור. והגבול דחסד הגבור, הוא בבחינת הכלים, ואין מקביל לישראל.
So the chesed and gvura has nothing to do with the Eivis?
according, מה? רגע, סליחה אחת, רבי תחתו. What? What are you saying? לא, זה ברור שזה בדור הראשונה. לא? מה? לא. מה?
וזה כתוב
לא, תראה מה כתוב שם, אולי שם כתוב הפרט הזה מה שכתוב פה. לא, אבל בית בבור גוף, סליחה, בית בבור גוף יש כמה, מה שאתה אומר זה נכון, אבל כנראה פה הוא מביא, אני לא יודע, אני לא צריך להסתכל. זה נכתב לפני 10 שנים, לא יודע מי כתב את זה. what? הנה, תסתכל, פעמיים כתוב. אתה רואה, שם כתוב כל הקטע הזה, אתה רואה? יוחד שרב מצריכים לו, זה כבר כתוב, זה צמח צדק, דרך אגב, הנה, יוחד רב מצריכים לו, said earlier, he brings out in the bottom that's really, צמח צדק already writes this concept. זה אותו עם בייס פעמיים. פה כתוב כרך גימל, פה כתוב חיילה גימל. זה מצחיק. בכל אופן,
קשר לאיירס.
what? אתה מבין למה זה כתב? לא, רגע, סליחה, אתה מבין למה זה קרה? איך זה קרה? זה נכתב בשני, זה לא נכתב באותו פעם, כנראה פעם אחת להוסיף, כנראה, לא יודע. anyway, בכל זאת, שני בני אדם כתבו את זה, אני לא זוכר, כן בטח. נגיע לענייננו, סליחה, so what he's saying here, בנגיע את החסד, רבי תחתיו, again, what was the question? That the oil itself, what was the question? I can't hear you. You're mute. The Oyer Chesed.
So what is Oyer Chesed? If
Oyer Chesed means Oyer Chesed means that level, that Gilead Oyer, which is expressed to Chesed, that Oyer itself could, and it says, what is the lashon here? גם כשמסלבש שומר בכלי החסד, אין בחינת חסד בעצם. It is chesed, when the oil chesed is shines to the kli chesed, it's tak a chesed, it's oil chesed, still not chesed בעצם, that's why it can move also the madrega of gvur. Okay, the truth is, yeah, it's one of these concepts hard to understand because is it in the if it's in the, the question is in what way is it oil chesed? After it's already limited in the keli, then it's the oil is not becoming chesed. It sounds like the oil chesed means that even the oil also becomes chesed, but it's not chesed be'etzem. It can transfer to gvur. Yeah, that's not. Sometimes Chassidus when talks about what
is the oil, not the keli. The oil is chesed?
Exactly. The oil also becomes oil chesed. Okay, so sometimes, in other words, talk about it, Megushim Dika words, the fact that this oil was Meir and chesed, that means that he has a specific connection to the chesed, but it's not in a way that he is totally committed. So sometimes Chassidus, when talks about oil chesed, uses I think it uses what talks about in Iskalus chesed v'gvura. Similar, it's also much to that. The person does something. Chesed means he has chesed, but the function of the chesed is to gvura, like choisach shift and say nebno. That's also sometimes we can think of much on that. Huh? It's a lot of davar, but sometimes it's harder for us to understand because it's hard to. We understand the words, we understand the technical, but in practical terms, let's say a person's. אוקיי, אז שם מן הסתם זה לא האויר, זה גם הכלי שם. פה מדובר שהאויר עצמו, it's not something, I think the Chassidus uses that marshal sometimes, no? And there has to be clear gvura. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Chassidus uses this marshal of, in other words, in other places it's talk about the skaldus chesed begvura. That's why in the kelim. Sometimes you use that marshal also on chesed b'kli gvura. The person uses chesed, he does chesed to the keli of gvura. So maybe that's a marshal of chesed gvura. But now, going back to our point here, that the oil is not affected. It's not affected. Like I said, the very megushim the commercial. The electric energy is not affected by how it's used. But it's still, I mean, I don't know if you can say it in the other side. You can saying that part of the electricity that makes light is not the same. It's not the same part of electricity that makes the the heat or the whatever, the appliance. So you're saying the same electricity. I don't know. It's not to call it Eira Chesed. It's not such a clear idea. Okay, but that's what it says.
In the marshal of electricity, it looks to me that before it comes to a refrigerator or to an oven, it's like a pashut. It's the same level.
Okay, so what he's saying is it makes no sense to call it Eira Chesed. Yeah. So in other words, let's say you have a electricity in your wall, you attach a light to it, and then to that socket, and then you take it out and you attach an appliance. The same oil kaviyachol, use it for this and this. Okay, I mean it's a very good commercial just to give it a little more connection, but the part that it's called Eira Chesed is not that clear in the marshal. But Bichlal, in Chassidus in general, the way Chassidus, let's put aside Eira Chesed. The idea is when something, just like Ilav, when something causes something, it means that, remember, in Mashalim of Ilav, that the fact that Seichel is Geir Midas means that Seichel has Midas within it. The fact that this oil happened to go in Eira Chesed, in Kliya Chesed, means it happens to have a connection to Chesed. We don't see it. But the fact that this oil happened to go to Chesed, that shows us that has a unique connection to Chesed. But like you said, the connection is not be'etzem. Ain't Chesed be'etzem. That's why it could also transfer to Gvur. All right. Sorry, I don't have more to say on this topic. But okay, that's basically trying to understand what he's saying. Okay, but the funny thing is, this is all introduction. It's going to go split even more. So at this point, we know the difference in Oiris and Kelim. Oiris is Pshutim, and the Kelim has the Tzil. Like even in Kachas HaNefesh, there's a person, I want to do something, but how I'm doing it in a way of kindness, in a way of judgment, in a way of wisdom. So I means the Nefesh. The Eira Nefesh flows, but it's Mitzuya, it's defined through various modes of expression. So that's the Eira and the Keli in Nefesh. Now he goes further. That brings in another, he splits it even more. I mean, it's in Kabbalah. It's Chaim is full of the word Chitzenius, Pnimius. So he says, so what does it mean? The Pnimius HaKelim, Yesh Lahem, in the Keli Gufa, the inner part of the Keli is connected more to the oil than the outer part of the Keli. Now again, sometimes Chassidus brings a marshal again, I'm a good from the commercial. You have a cup, there's water in it. So the water is inside. In other words, the oil is inside the cup. The outside of the cup, that's more external. That's in the Magugush of the commercial. But he's going to bring more short to the commercial. שמה, בחר זה כן, כן, לא, על המים, בטח, כן, למשל, אני מדבר על הבדל מחיצני זה פנימיס, על דרך מה שבאדם למטו, בסלאפ של הכרחס באיפרי הגוף, like I just said before, the אדם למטו, the human experience, בסלאפ של הכרחס באיפרי הגוף, so the kerchas, I spoke about the kelim in the person before, Tzio, Chochma, Chesed, but he says more practical way. The koiches hanefesh hamislabish b'ivri aguf, kegoi, oir hasechel b'moich shebareish. That spiritual power of intellect, where does that reside? Where does that mislabish? In the physical brain, and also and the potential of seeing, where is that mislabish? In the matter of the eye. So obviously the matter is shalei be'er to the tzur, the matter to the form, tzuras hanefesh, the chaymer aguf is shalei be'er to tzuras hanefesh, שזה גשמי וזה רוחני. ומכל מקום, at the same time, בהכרח לומר, שיש איזה השתבש בכלי אלוהים. משום זה, האיר משתבש בכלי. We must say that that keli, that vessel, that part of the body where that koyach hanefesh is invested, is included, we must say that there's a connection. That's why the oil is lavish in this kli. In other words, why is the seichel mislavish in the brain and not in other parts of the body? Because the chaymer hamoyach has something, as a unique quality that is a keli of seichel. Similarly, the eye. So you start the matter of the eye, or spherius v'abirus shaboy. I don't know what it means because I'm not a doctor, but I guess the eye has a certain clarity. Sphere, in Chassidus, Vater V'Lachem, spherius v'abirus. Spherius motion. It's very clear. It's very clear. Another muscle. That the difference, if you have a see-through glass or colored glass, see-through glass, so the light of the sun shines through it without being it shines through it because the fact that the glass doesn't have color, doesn't have any shape, that's a sign of shut, abstract. Behir, it's clear, it's clean. Okay, the marshal shouldn't be a colored one, a dirty one. Let's say you have a dirty piece of glass and you have a clean piece of glass. And the clean one is more of a kela to the Eir HaShemesh, that should be light into the room through that glass. So the clarity is a kela, so to speak. The mela sphere, so that is a marshal. Okay, again, I don't know anatomy enough. The marshal, the eye, the matter of the eye has a certain unique quality that it's a kela to koyach hariyah. Now he goes into even more complicated way to explain it. There's something called spheres. The eye itself is two parts. There's the gashmi, there's the more physical, the more crude part of the eye, which is like a piece of something. No. Then, so that's something in the eye which I don't know what it is, but it's something edel, something subtle in the eye that is a keli to the book. לא, הקטרקט זה משהו מסתיר, זה משהו פיזי, זה מסתיר. אוקיי, אני לא יודע, אוקיי. וזהו הכלי לקבל הראי. אוקיי, so you explain, look, the ruchnis שבעין. The ayin has a certain quality that is, bar mitzvah bacher. Mazal tov. So, Cholechen, come on. Cholechen, sagt azoi. So, okay, so it should have been in the Sforim, look in the Sforim of the talk, the Sifrei Kodesh that talk about these concepts. There's a bunch of Sforim called, there's, I forgot, Shvile Emuna, there's a few Sforim, what is the other one? I forgot. There's a few Sforim that talk about this, they explain the body and soul, so they use this type of language, this type of explanations, the yachas of the body and the soul. That's in the rear. Similar way, so in the eye, it's also in the brain. There's some kind of lachluch is ruchnis. That mustag מאוד מעניין. The what do you call it? Lachluch is, I will translate lachluch is being wet, being I don't know. The
moist shell.
What?
Moisture. Moisture.
Moisture, right? Moisture, right? Moisture. Lachloch is moisture. The moisture is considered ruchni. Sometimes when Chassidus talks about Eish Ruach Mayim Offer, the four elements, Eish Ruach Mayim Offer, so Mayim is considered more spiritual than Offer. That's why Mayim, the fluid, the moisture, is more. It's more spiritual in the sense that it flows. It doesn't stay in one place. So it's a relative to Offer. It's considered more spiritual. In our case also, that lachluch is a ruch nishaboy, that the moyach, the physical brain, has a special quality. Shezer afil kabbalah raseh. So what to the Gemara is to show us. Okay, again, I'm not sure we can understand exactly the details, but the concept to understand that the way the body and the nefesh interact, the keches nefesh and every aguf. He says, so the inner part of the Evorim, of the Ayin and the Seichel, the Lechluchis, Aruchnis, and the Sphirius Shebayin, they are Kalim to the oil. Adugum is a so now they got to the Nimshal, the Kalim that Silus, the Pnimis Akeli Sheshlach Veshtav Sasal. The indicative that Silus Gofen, the Kalim of the Sphere is the inner part of the Keli, the more it's more refined and has a certain way that is equal to the earth, similarity and equality to the earth. Brings another point. So that's in the language of in this language. Then he brings it from another perspective. It says in Kabbalah, and the Eiveshter with Gamoy, the Kelim is one. So he said, the Ikar the ultimate expression of that concept of Gamoy Chad, who like just like we said in the marshal of the brain and in the eye, similar in the nimshul. We say that pnimius keli, the inner part, the deeper part of the keli, is connected to the earth. You can say what? That level. Yeah, there is also a concept. Yeah, misabas nasakli. That's another concept. So basically, if you talk about it in the marshal, let's say in the marshal of a human experience, now when a person, even when a person does something, gives a shiur, how much of him is in it? How much of you is in it? How much of the person is in what he's doing? You can do something in a way that you're not into it. You do something, but your mind is somewhere else. But then you're very intent. So that's a marshal on how much the oil is connected to the keli. If your entire being is into it, it means the oil is connected to what you're doing. And what level of what you're doing? That's the inner part of what you're doing. Like we said always, the marshal pnimis chitzenius person does something for a different reason. He has a job because he needs the money. He doesn't really want the job. So, but then while he's doing the job, there is an aspect to it. Okay, it's all something so fluid. There's an aspect that he's mamish into it. That's the more closer to him. Okay. In the external part of the keli, what? Ma? כן? אז זה גם שם, אוקיי. חופ בסדר, אז כנראה שבחלק ג' כתוב כל הקטע הזה שכתוב פה, יוחד ורבי והכל, לכן זה בחלק ג' פה. גם הבור, כנראה הוא הביא את שני הדברים. צריך לבדוק שם. הולך, יבוזק, תודו, סתם, that חיצאין זה גם לבוש. Remember it says in פסח אליהו, in the mind of פסח אליהו, it says, there's different tikkunim and levushim. The tikkunim is like tachshitim, like jewelry. What? Yeah, no chazal, but There's a difference between jewelry and clothing. That's the way it says in some places. That I don't know how it works because I don't understand the way jewelry operates. But the idea is that clothing is something more external. Jewelry is something much more attached to you in not just the physical way, conceptually. Jewelry makes you beautiful. It's something external. So over there in the Maimer, it says that the Tfiris and Bria levushim and Atzilas are tikun tachitim. But here he talks chitzenius. Here he says in Atzilas gufa the kenim that chitzenius again is the levushim. Within Atzilas gufa it's considered levushim. Yeah. Shoma shel choles. Some that's in Chassidus. We have Alten Kop that sometimes Chassidus talks very general, then it starts splitting. So in Atzilus Gufa, there's Madrigas. In our case, he's talking now. He wants to talk in Kenim Atzilus Gufa, the two Madrigas. So it's Pnimis.
So when you say Ihu v'Garmoy Echad, it's not the same like Ihu v'Chayoy Echad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's a different point. No, Chayoy is Eires. Chayoy is no. The two things here. Ihu v'Chayoy Echad means the Eir in Sof Shel Malam Atzilus. V'Chayoy and the Eires of Atzilus Chad. That's Chayoy is Eires. Garmoy is Kalim. Here he says which part of Kalim is Chad with the oil, the Pnimis HaKalim. Iker Inyan, if Garmoy Chad is Pnimis HaKalim. Chitzenius HaKalim, that's not that much. The Chad, the unity of the oil, the Chitzenius HaKalim is not as much as it is with the Pnimis HaKalim. That's the not so, and that's why it's compared to Levushim. So again, what's the difference between Chitzenius HaKalim, that Chitzenius HaKalim is like a levushim. What's a levush? Levush is an outside, something outside. It's not yourself. Mashem Avor Bakam Makam is the Kalim that Atzilus and Pchinas Atzilus. Also, the Pchinas HaKalim. Another way it says sometimes in Chassidus that the Kalim that Atzilus is the Bria Shabbat Atzilus. It's not that Atzilus Shabbat Atzilus, it's the Bria Shabbat Atzilus. The way Bria is in Atzilus. So it's also the Pchinas Chitzenius HaKalim. That's another way of expressing the concept of Chitzenius HaKalim. When we say Kalim is Bria, that's Chitzenius. Pnimis HaKalim is higher. The Pnimis HaKalim, Pchinas Ein, Loi Pchinas Mitzvah Sadain. So now he says even another way to look at it. That Pnimis HaKalim, Pchinas Ein is in a state of nothingness, a state of total bittul to the earth. Loi Pchinas Mitzvah Sadain.
When we say Bria Shabbatzilus, we don't mean, according to this, it does not mean Bria, it means the Chitzenius.
Yeah, that's what he says here. The Bria Shabbatzilus, that's Chitzenius HaKalim. When he said the Kalim is Bria Shabbatzilus, it talks about Chitzenius HaKalim, not Pnimis HaKalim. But why? The Pnimis HaKalim, Pchinas Ein. Loi Pchinas Metzias Adain. Ve'im Eretz Pchinas Chachma V'Chesed, Ein Pchinas Metzias Adain. So the way it's in Chachma Chesed Gufa, there's the Pnimis in the Chitzenius, in the Chitzenius HaKesed is a Metzius. And in the pneumius of the keli, it's ein of chesmetzias, pchinas ein. So it's in the state of bittul. The inner part of the keli is totally bottled to the earth. So it's not a metzius chachma v'chesed. It's the ein metzius. It's interesting. It's chachma, but it's not a metzius chachma. So it's a more potential state. So that's the inner pneumius. Now he says another point. And there's another expression in Kabbalah, that the oil becomes more thickness. Again, that the mashal is what is the mashal in Abus? The clouds turn into water, right? Becomes more, a cloud is something here, but then when it condenses, turns into water. So that's another way of saying isabus. Again, it's a very
isabus miloshen onon or miloshen is becoming more megusha. Isabus.
I'm sorry. What?
Isabus is miloshen. Isabus is miloshen onon av ve'onon or miloshen.
No.
Or Megusha.
No, thickening. It comes thick. It's not Lashon Avon. I just use the muscle. No, that's Lashon Avon. Misabas Aklim, it becomes thick. Of means thick.
Ave. Yeah.
Ave, yeah. Ave in Hebrew. Ave, yeah.
Secretive של הכלים, של סלאב של הכלים, זה אחר. לא של סלאב הכלים, הוא נעשה אב ונעשה כלים.
לא?
מה שמסתבר נעשה כלים. נעשה כלים. זה מסלאב הכלים, לא? זה מה שכלי קיים לפני כן. שאני כל כך בקונספציה של בייס זה...
אוקיי, יש כמה הסתכלויות, אוקיי, אני לא זוכר איפה באים באיזה. אני לא זוכר כבר, אוקיי, זה רק קטן. Yeah. In a state of potential. Okay, so that, exactly. Yeah. But he said something interesting here. Masha misabas anasa kelim chnes yesh me'ayin. He calls it abus yesh me'ayin, which is quite, chidash. Usually, abus means you take something, you take water and you freeze it. What? לא, אבל מסעבה זה נקרא שאותו דבר, אותו מים, בסדר, אבל אותו מים נהיה קרח. פה זה נקרא שיש מאין. הוא אומר שזה יש מאין. קורא לו מסעבה זה יש מאין. זה כבר מילים אחרות. מה? כן. In other words, usually, Oyer and Keli, look, in other places, see this, Oyer and Keli represent two different things. Oyer is the Koyach HaGvul, and Keli is Koyach HaGvul, right? So it's two different streams, it's two different modes of expression. But, זה נקרא זה מה שנקרא שהם מתנגשים, כן. זה נקרא איסאבוס, ככה כתוב שם? אוקיי, יכול להיות. אוקיי, כן. יכול להיות, אני לא ממש לא. Okay, so he brings in another point. Here he uses misabas.
אז מה הוא אמר? מה זה איסאבוס?
לא, איסאבוס what we said, thickening, that means... לא, הוא מביא ממקום אחר שכתוב, שם לא כתוב איסאבוס, אני לא יודע, לא בטוח, צריך להסתכל. שם כתוב שהאויר, איך אומרים לזה? על ידי שהאויר מכה, הכועס, האויר בכלי, מזה נעשה. הכועס זה משהו אחר, הכועס זה נקרא ששניהם מתנגשים, they collide, that creates a spark. That's a collision. Isabas is the opposite. Isabas means it's a process. It gets thicker and thicker, and then it turns something else. Like I said, it take the other muscle is.
מי מגביל אותו בכלל שיקל? אבל כאן כנראה הוא משתמש בזה לכמות החיצונית של האור, מתהווה עד כדי ככה ששם ממש כלי.
Okay, this is the concept we still have to elaborate more. What are you saying, Miss Sabbath? Okay, so Kaponim, but he's trying, but he wants to bring out here the aspect. He wants to bring out here that the keli is something much cruder. It's abos. It's stressing what is abos. It means it's something much more thick in the sense that it's yesh me'ayin. It's something very, very megush. It's not megush, very defined. So he says yesh me'ayin. Even that is also chitzonius hakeli. The fact that he used the word is abos, it's also not chitzonius hakeli. Okay. So interesting use the word is abos here. In other words, that's not the point. Again, we have to think about why he uses the concept of abos here. Okay, so where do we stay? So we have the difference between Primis Hakelim is Ein it's connected to the oil, like in the marshal of the spheres Sheba Ein and the Lachluchis Sheba Mayach. That's the Pnimis HaKelim, and that's the Yuv Gamo Echad. And Chitzonius HaKelim, that's something that's already separate, its own being. Like I said, like the Mashal sometimes we use, let's say Chesed. There's Chesed. So the Eira Chesed means that the Eibishter is in Sof is also kind. But Chesed means, Kli Chesed means, Chitzonius HaKelim means there is an objective concept of kindness. You don't see the Eibishter. It's kindness is a concept, is a way of a mode of being unrelated who the source is. So that's chitzonius. If you don't see you just see the kindness. See, kindness is a good thing. It doesn't matter who it's coming from Kaviyachol. So it's not, the likus shabazeh is already not there. It's not. It's something separate. So you're using what misabus. Wow. Okay. But at the same time, but the Chitzonius HaKeli is also makabel from Eira Kav. What's the difference? So basically what he's saying is that not only the two madrigas and Kelim, it's also two madrigas and Eiris. The Pnimius HaKeli gets a higher level of the Eiris, and the Chitzonius HaKeli gets a lower level of the Eiris. Pnimius HaKeli that what level of the oil shines in the pnimis hakelim, the way its essence, and becomes one with pnimis hakelim. Aber v'chitzonius hakelim may rak oil shomris hashpah is God's chutz latzmos kaviyachol. The chitzonius hakelim gets only the external expression kaviyachol. Dahainu letzorich haisavos, only for the function that's gonna to have the effect of hisavos, because the spheres. That's a field that Atzilus is a mamutza. It says in other places in Chassidus that Atzilus is a mamutza for the Isavos. V'meile v'einai v'chinas is ardas mamish. It's not a total level of unity with the Kelim. Rak yu b'chayechad diver be'em v'al yodam yesh mayin. It's a losh negas hakelim siman chov. That level of oil that reaches the chitzonius hakelim, it's not mamish one. It's only one liver be'em for a specific purpose. It's not mamish united. It's only expressed as unity in a way that they are the kelim are the vehicle to which he is creating. Okay, all right, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, we'll try to figure out more things. That's what they מסובך, רציתי להגיד לך עוד משהו פה, אני אגיד לך יותר. אני רוצה